Hi class, today we're going to do some transformations, and depending on how long they take, we'll also add uh, some effects for when you mouse over things. Well, we'll definitely do both actually. So I hope you enjoy this, and I hope you find this video helpful. So here's our result right now. I haven't done all the verses, I'm just doing the top few for the examples. And we're not touching the CSS, we're not touching the HTML at all right now. We're just playing with the CSS. And so what we can do is we can come down to any of the things that we're going to modify. We're going to modify the H1 tag, the H2 tag, and then our verses. And so I'm going to say H1 : hover. And now this is going to be what the H1 looks like when you hover over it. And so you could just change everything. I'm not going to change the font because that often gets odd looking. So you can change the background color to yellow, the color to red of the text. That's going to be hard to read. Blue to the text. I wouldn't change the style of the border. It doesn't turn out well. You can change the color though to green. You can change the width and the radius if you'd like. 15. And when we come back here and we hit refresh, you'll see that now it changes. It doesn't look great. And what I find, actually, I want to keep, this didn't change because I didn't make it 15 pixels. Now it doesn't look great. Now I also don't like the width changing because it's pushing all the other stuff down. You normally don't want to move other things around, so I'm going to say keep that at 10. But then the really important thing for good effects is transition duration. Make that like 1 second or half a second. And then when you refresh, you'll see that it fades. And that's an important one. If you want it to fade back, put the transition duration over the H1 in the H1, and then it will also fade back. It may look a little funny coming in. There are ways like that. There are ways to fix that, but we're not going to go over them in this video. But now it's giving a nice effect. Something else you can do when you're leaving, you can say transition. And again, it's going to make it look funny when you're loading it. We're not going to worry about fixing that right now. But it's going to take a second, and then it's going to pop out. And then, if you do that, you also want to have a duration of 0 seconds. Delay. Of 0 seconds when you leave. And what that's going to do is, we'll see in a second. So it pops in, and then right away it comes in. But then when you leave, it takes a second to leave. And you can do whatever you want with this. Like there's so many cool things that you can try here. The last thing we're going to talk about right now is we're going to talk about transformations. Doing it in the hover. We say transform : and there's a whole bunch of stuff here, so I'm going to say W3 schools transform CSS just to see a list of a lot of them. So we have rotate, we have skew, we have scale, and these are all fantastic to play with. So let's skew it first and see what happens. So transform skew, and it's in degrees. So this is going to be when we hover onto it. And it skews it. Rotate. Rotate's a really fun one. It can get really messy. But if you do something like 820 degrees, it's going to spin at 820 degrees over a period of 1 second. So it's going to spin like crazy. So let me refresh the page, let it load, and then boom. Now the problem with this is, then it unspins. The problem is this: if you do it on the edge, as it spins, it moves off of the cursor, and you get this weird thing happening. So you have to be careful with the spinning. You'd also probably want to end it on a 360, 720, 1080. So then you can read it. Now you can also rotate it maybe like 10 degrees to start. And then it's going to come in a little bit weird looking to begin with, and then when you click on it, it spins like a helicopter. The last one, we're going to keep the first rotation in, and we're going to make it 5 degrees, a little smaller. And then we're going to scale it. Now scale, if you do scale 1, nothing will happen because that's saying 100%. But if you want to get a little bigger, like 20% bigger, you say 1.2. And then sorry, I got impatient. It's taking a minute to load. Let's try that again. Preview static. There we go. And now it gets bigger. And in this instance, it's not a good thing because, so let's fix what's happening there. And we can also say transform I gotta spell transform correct. And then we're gonna do translate in the x direction, and we'll say 50 VW. And that's going to push it to the right as well. So let it load, and then boom. And I pushed it a little too far, so let's make it 30 VW. That's 30% the width of the page. So you come on and boom, now it looks nice. Another neat effect that you can do, I'll do it with the H2 tag. We can translate it like negative. Now this is going all the way across the page, so like negative 80 VWs. And so now you can't read it, but what we're going to do is when you mouse over it, we'll translate it to, so that'd be H2 hover. And we'll just say translate it to 0. Oh, and for some reason it didn't hit. Oh, so that's why I don't know how I got that space in there. You never put a space between the and then now this is doing something weird because I don't have any duration. And I'm trying to get it to go to 0, and then I'm going to say transition duration, comma, 1 second. You can make it like half a second, also works really well very often. So now it slides in. And if you do transition duration on the other side, it slides out. So moving things around the screen. The last one we're going to look at is we're going to say You want to do these typically in ones that have less text. Like that one kind of actual got this text here. So I'm going to make this text right justified. So verse 1. Font, no, text align right. And then we're going to say width, I'm going to say 70 pw. And then verse 1 colon hover, we're going to go to width 100, we'll do width 90. 100 would be weird because we have padding happening. And then what we want to do is we want to give it a duration. And after this, you'll see what happens there. You know what? Let's change the background color. You should be changing everything around. Just have fun. Background color, it used to be green. We'll change it to orange. And we'll change the color to pink. So now, oh, that is not doing it right. Oh, I think Codio is actually putting that spacing. I don't see myself type. I don't feel like I'm typing that, but and that got a little bit too far over, so we'll make it a little smaller. And that's enough for today after, so we'll see the effect. So boom, boom, boom. And you know, it's just doing a bunch of neat effects. So you want to do that for all of your verses, and that will be a successful day. I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks. I gotta turn this off. I lost my OBS. There we go. Take care.